Hey guys, how's it going? I hope you're doing well. You know, for a while, I've had a burning question of mine that I would really like to answer. And that question is what would the ultimate Minecraft world look like? Like, what would it contain? What kind of stuff would it contain? What would its base look like? And what would set it apart from a regular Minecraft world? This is a very interesting question to me, and like I said, I'd really like to answer it. So, let's try and do that. Okay, so fresh world, blank canvas, ready to be painted any colour of our choosing. So where exactly do we begin on this epic journey to create the ultimate Minecraft world? So I think we should start somewhere where I think pretty much everyone starts when making a new Minecraft world, and that is with a starter home. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a little house somewhere in this vicinity, and then I'll go back to you and we're going to try to create something cool within it. Okay, so here we are, a red room. A red room, that's what we got. Not quite, let me give you a quick look from the outside. So actually build it into this mountain here, and I think it looks pretty good actually. You may be thinking, well, that's a bit of a big starter house, and yeah, you know, starter house may have been a little bit of an understatement. But what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do when you've got access to creative tools? You're gonna go a bit ham. Yeah, I think it looks pretty cool actually. I was trying to go for a particular look here. Kind of like a warehouse, storage unit, garage type of building, and yeah, I think it looks pretty good actually. Okay, so we have a house, a building. Why do we need it exactly? So, have you ever heard of a device called a hidden crafting table, or a hidden workbench? You probably have, because it's fairly well known. You've probably seen one in your journeys, your encounters of Minecraft. But in case you haven't, let me give you a quick demonstration, a quick example of what it does. This is not a standard thing or anything. In fact, this doesn't even work. But basically, you have a crafting table, and you kind of just reveal it from a hiding place. So imagine this is a floor, this is a wall. Using a series of pistons, you would kind of do something like this, so that the crafting table pops out of its hiding place. It's a pretty cool little device. I've always found them pretty nifty, and I'd like to make something kind of similar to this, but in my own way. So this is of course Ultimate Minecraft, and you know, we want to make something a little bit special. So ours of course is going to work a little bit differently. First of all, it's not actually going to be hidden, but it is going to kind of use that on-demand appliance type feel, which I think is the cool part. So how I envision it working is kind of like this. So we'll walk into the room, there'll be some kind of trigger device, perhaps a button, which we press, and when we press it, a crafting table will be summoned from somewhere else in the room. Specifically, what I think would be a pretty cool idea is we could have, for example, a shelf or something, maybe over here, and on top of the shelf we'd have a piston and then a crafting table like so, and when you press the button, the piston kind of launches, catapults, air quotes, the crafting table into the air, and for it to land in a position, perhaps in the center of the room. Maybe it could actually catapult across the room a couple of times, kind of bouncing off multiple of these piston catapults, and then land in the position. I think that could be pretty cool if done right. So that's what we're going to try and do. So how are we going to get all of this to work? And I think it's going to be pretty simple, pretty straightforward, because we're going to use an old method that was discovered by Traslander quite a while ago, but to this day it's still pretty cool. So this was back before command blocks could summon or set blocks in the world, back on using spawners, the horrible days, if you remember them. So what we're going to do is, I'll just give you a quick example of this in action first. So basically, like I said, what we want to do is we want to launch the crafting table across the room into position. So we're going to use this method. Yes, we're going to just launch the block into the new thing. Now you've probably seen this kind of thing before, because it's fairly well known. But in the case that you haven't, I'll explain how it works. So what we're doing here is actually we're just summoning some falling sand. So there's this old little trick where basically if you summon some falling sand with a time of 0 at the same location of a block, you can actually convert that block into falling sand if it matches the same block ID. So for example, if this block right here was, say, some grass, and I tried to do it, not going to do it. And the reason being is because the block ID of this falling sand is diamond block. So only if a diamond block is stood here will it convert into falling sand, like so. And it's pretty much as simple as that. Then we of course give it a little bit of motion, just to kind of send it in the direction that we want to. and then it kind of hops to the new location. I think that's a pretty straightforward way to do it. Okay, scratch what I just said. Past me was completely wrong. Completely utterly wrong. So I was having a little bit of a test around, see if I could get it work, and the answer is not quite as I'd expected. Oh yeah, I changed the interior here. Tried to make it look a little bit more messy. That's kind of the look I'm going for, because again, it's a storage unit like a warehouse. So we've got a load of junk, a load of trinkets on the walls, on the shelves. And the idea is, like I said, it's the crafting table isn't actually going to be hidden. It's kind of be sort of hidden among the junk. So the crafting table will be here. And of course, when you walk in, it's kind of like, there's just a load of junk on the shelves and stuff. But when you press the button, it kind of pops out from there. I think that would be a pretty cool look if I can get it right. So yeah, the problem is that falling sand is buggy. Falling sand has always been glitchy. The problem is that when falling sand is actually moving, or if it's moving quite a lot, like if you just like shoot it miles and miles around, it often doesn't actually render the journey moving, the travel time. And that's a problem because obviously that's what we want. So yeah, let me kind of show you what I've got. So again, like I said, the crafting table is to be launched across the room onto this piston over here, and then vice versa onto here. So there, let me show you. It sometimes looks okay, but sometimes it doesn't. Let's have a see. Yeah, you see it a little bit there. So sometimes the falling sand doesn't even render at all. It just kind of pops up here and then just appears on the other side, which is not great. You just saw there it didn't work too great. We can actually try that once more if we want to. Yeah, which is a bit of an issue because you want it to be nice and smooth, don't you? And that's not really smooth at all. Okay, so my solution is instead of using falling sand, we should use a resource pack and an arm stand. That is always my solution. So over here I have the solution, which looks like this. This is a pretend crafting table. This isn't a real crafting table. It's just an entity. It's a diamond hoe made to look like a crafting table, disguised to look like a crafting table. I do that all the time. Everyone does that all the time nowadays. And I think this would actually work better because mobs and arm stands tend to have better movement than something like falling sand. So let's see it in action. I think it will work better. It works pretty much the same actually, except that no falling sand, which is nice. So let's see. Summon the guy. So that is not actually a crafting table, that is a disguise, that's a pretend, it's a fake. But you wouldn't know unless I told you. And let's see. So let's launch that guy. And I think that works a lot better. That's a lot smoother. There's not really any like stuttering or anything. And yeah, that's what we're going to do, I think. Right, so I've actually finished it. It works. And it was pretty straightforward, actually. So I'm going to show you it in action. And then I'll explain all of the finer details, kind of. So yeah, over here, we enter unsuspecting into the building. Look around, we just see junk on the walls. There couldn't possibly be anything hidden in here. But what's this? A pressure plate. I wonder what it does. So yeah, let's take a look. Look on the right side. Blop, 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 blop. Very cool. Then we can go use the crafting table if we so desire. And once we're done with it, we can go put it back. Like so. And it looks very cool. So let's take a look at that one more time. Launched across the room. Launched across the room. Center of the room. Launched back. Lovely. Absolutely lovely. Here are the command blocks. I don't know what to do with them, so for the time being, they're going to have to stay outside in our front garden, I guess. So yeah, let me explain how this works. Now, a lot of this is actually just sequencing, to be perfectly honest. Most of it's kind of already been covered. So let me kind of walk you through what happens when we do stuff. So when we actually hit this pressure plate down here, there's actually a command block down here which just sets a block of redstone over into one of those circuits. And basically, so up here we have the crafting table, and this is actually a proper crafting table at the time being. But as soon as we press this button, or this, or the pressure plate, what happens is this crafting table is actually deleted and converted into the armor stand fake crafting table. And then the piston is activated remotely with a redstone block. And as soon as this thing actually fires upwards, the fake crafting table is actually given some motion, like I showed you. So it's flung across the room and lands on the second piston over here. That process is actually repeated until we land over here. And then again, down here, we actually again remotely activate these pistons down here using redstone. When it's put it back, we use pretty much the same thing. So when it's actually traveling, it's of course an armor stand, but when it's stationary, it's an actual proper crafting table. So for example, right now, it's a proper crafting table, but if we step on it, it's currently an armor stand converted into a proper workbench. You can actually kind of tell when it converts because the lighting changes a little bit. But yeah, you know what? I'm actually really, really happy with it. I think it looks really, really cool. And it's pretty much exactly what I envisioned, actually. But anyway, guys, that is pretty much all there is to it. This was a fun little project that I quite enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed too. If you did, a like is, of course, always much appreciated. Subscribe if you aren't already. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.